I lost my sight when I was about 2 years old through jaundice. I had about 20% of my sight at that particular time. So when I lost complete sight, I was in my early teens, around about 13 years old. I was sent to Australia, Melbourne, to do my matriculation. So I always have this eye trouble. They call it corneal ulcer. I always have this. So one morning when I got up, I suddenly realized that I wasn't able to see. Everything seems to be, very dark, and I couldn't find my way around. I really was very panicked. The doctor was called for, and I went to hospital, and they certified me as completely blind, totally blind, and there's no chance of my regaining the sight that I had. I was devastated because when I had my 20% sight, I used to be able to move around quite freely. I can see colors, I can see trees when I go outside and things like that. But when I lost it completely, I was really at a loss and had to depend upon family members and friends to help me around in initial stage. To know where you are going, you got to relearn the route that you're supposed to travel, and you got to use a long cane to travel about to find out where the drain is or the grass patch, so that you'll be able to walk along the line, straight line. Like everything else, it's very daunting to begin with, but slowly but surely you get a hang of it after some time. Oh, I can get around without help, especially in the places that I want to go. I take it upon myself to make sure that I know the way to the place where I want to go, like to the Blind Association, to my working place where I used to work, to places where I want to have my food. I'm able to find my way around. I can take the bus or MRT. So what I do is I'll put my hands, and then somebody will say, "Oh, you need help?" I say, "Yes, please." That kind of thing. So they're normally quite obliging. Yeah.
And do they usually give up lessons?
Yes, most of the time. But you do have occasion that people just don't refuse to give it to you. So you stand up until somebody tap you on the shoulder, oh, there's a seat for you. Nowadays, with the phone, you have this app. They will tell you when is the next bus coming, approximately how long.
Wheelchair accessible. Seats available.
Tell you all these things, right?
Find nearby buses. Button.
But of course, normally what I do is, depending on where I am, I always say find nearby buses. So if I want number,
Bus 16, Miranda Hall. Bus stop number 82139.
say if I want to go to town, let's say, I'll take the bus number 16.
Standing available. Subsequent bus in 11 minutes. Wheelchair accessible. Seats available.
The bus captain nowadays are very good. They will tell you service number 16 or service 33. So once they tell you if it's the bus that you want, you just hop in. In trying to find jobs, getting gainful employment is difficult. Every time you go for interview, they will always ask you, are you able to find your way around? Are you able to go to the gents on your own? Do you need help? Do you need to have somebody beside you all of the time? Things like that. When you became blind, it is the business of the Blind Association to send somebody down to you. Like in my case, they sent somebody down to talk to my mother. That being blind is not the end of the world, it's not the end of everything. There's everything to look for. I do go up there from time to time to get my equipment, like a long cane, watches, you know, various talking devices. I was approached by one of the committee members. He asked me whether I'd like to come and volunteer to serve. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. That's how I got in.
You went free.
From main matches, Doris A. Doris the Doris.
Okay, we will discuss.
Okay, okay,
Yeah?
good.
Lovely to see you again.
My name is Dolores. I'm the Public Relations Executive. I'm also in charge of volunteer management. We are the only voluntary welfare association for the blind and visually impaired in the whole of Singapore. And currently we have just over 3,500 clients. By clients, what we mean is anybody who has been assessed low vision and whose vision cannot be corrected through the normal channels. Mr. Cheok is one of our more illustrious clients in that he's been with the association for a heck of a long time. He had served the association by being on the Advocacy committee and advocating the rights of the visually impaired and trying to dispel all manner of discrimination and bias against our community of visually impaired folk.
Most blind people have difficulty in getting the organizations, especially banks, to accept our signature, because being blind, especially totally blind, you don't know how to sign, and when you learn, it will take you a while, and then every time you sign, it may be different, you know. So the bank finds it very difficult to accept that kind of thing.
Our motto at SCVH is very simple, which is basically to help the visually impaired help themselves, and rather than give a person a fish, we'd much rather teach him or her how to fish. So we're all about empowering and equipping them with the necessary work and life skill set so they can go out into the world, fend for themselves, be self-sufficient as possible, reintegrate into society and find their niche.
I love music. Music is to me a form of relaxation, and it's also a means of taking you away from all the worries and cares of the world. So I do play actually with some people. They heard us and like us very much and say, why don't you play at Concord Hotel or something like that, you know? Would you like to do that? I said, okay. So he arranged for us to go to Concord Hotel for an audition. And we went there. We gave a few numbers, and the management were quite happy with it. They said, why not? Okay, we will try you on for 2 months and see what happens. When we came, we draw in a lot of people. All the crowd came in because the stuff that we played are all songs of yesteryears. So they love that kind of music. So that's how we continue up to today. I think, to me, if a person has no music, the person is a very boring person. Music to me is something that is a must, that a person must have, be it whatever form. So I'm lucky in the sense that I like songs from yesteryear, and I find that words of those songs has a lot of meaning. I met my wife in church because at that particular time I was playing for the church where I worship, you know, and I don't know, somehow one thing after another, when I finished playing the music for the church and all that, this person will come and help me to bring me down from the stage and things like that.
At that time, he was playing music, and I know that he's a musician, and I was quite happy about it because it's something that I love to have someone who can play music. And at that point in time, he was playing a song, Michelle, My Belle, and my name was Michelle, and I was very touched.
And that's how we met, and one thing leads to another. It is not easy for a sighted to marry a blind person. As you know, you have the parental objection and things like that. So it does take a certain amount of courage.
We did meet near outside Marine Parade, and sometimes he'll go to my block 64 Marine Drive, and he'll wait downstairs. I was hesitant to bring him upstairs. Anyway, I told my father about it, and he was very mad with me, very angry, and he refused to talk to me.
Her brothers were very supportive of her marriage, saying to the mother that is her life. If she finds joy in it, happiness in it, why not?
Finally, my brother told him, this is her decision. Whatever happens, if she suffers, she has to suffer. So finally, he agreed to it, but he didn't tell me, you know. He said, you don't care. You don't care whether he has a big house or his family is okay. But you marry this person, you know. Next time you have to look after him yourself, totally. I remember there was one time when I was pregnant and I have to buy Pampers, 2 types of Pampers for the number 1, number 2, now the number 3 is pregnant. I'm pregnant, so I carry the Pampers and walk to the house. Sometimes I feel myself very tired. Well, I do have a quite difficult life after we get married. It's always about money problem, and he will say to me, "You don't overspend. You don't anyhow buy things." But the thing is, I buy things for my family. Once in a while, I give myself a treat. But to him, anything I spend is a lot of money.
I feel that my dad is a bit scream of money. So he also rarely treats me also. So it's like he is quite stingy in the sense that I have to pay my bills myself. So when I was young, I feel that I have to rely on myself basically. Yeah, I would say that having a blind father, I think it's kind of hard because he can't really provide what a father should be, and I believe that most families view a father as a role model. But for me, I feel that I have to help my dad. So it's like I have to like constantly help him.
I just simply cannot change the person. I have to accept the person as he is. The thing that I must change myself.
I mean, never underestimate the less fortunate, yeah? But, and I don't think that by nature anybody would like to do so, but it's just something where it's tunnel vision on the part of many capable individuals not to see beyond the blindness. It's all about seeing beyond it, and they're no different from anybody else.
That's one thing that somebody told me. Do you know that blind people, they're just as normal as other men? That's what they say. And I also must tell you that for him as a husband and father to my children, I think he did pretty well. If you compare him with other blind people, I think he's exceptional.
We like to live a life as normal as possible.